Okay, so I've heard that the girlies want to learn how to edit like Nischa. I've been getting so many requests for this, and I completely understand why. Her editing is clean, it's minimal, but it's also super engaging. If I had to describe it, it would be more of like a modern corporate-y feel, which makes sense because of her background in the financial industry. I feel like her graphics just like scream that I know what I'm talking about. But what if I told you that you could actually learn how to edit like her using your favorite video editing app plus Canva? And I say Canva because the secret to her editing style is actually in the graphics that she uses. So today, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to be breaking down 4 of her graphics in her videos and showing you exactly how to recreate them inside of Canva. Okay, so this is how this is going to work. I'm going to show you the part of the video that I will be recreating, and then I will go into Canva and show you exactly how it's done. The first thing that we're going to go over is to sort of like slide up and then fade out B-roll.
In fact, some of the most financially secure people I know don't earn huge paychecks. They've just...
So as you see there, it slides up and then it fades out into gray. So we're going to go to Canva, and then we're going to go to video, and then we're going to press this first one right here. So 1920 by 1080. This is usually the same size of YouTube videos. And then we're then going to make this background a little bit more grayer, because as we see in this sort of like in her B-roll, it's mostly gray. So we're gonna make sure this is nice and gray. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go to elements, and we are going to search up graph. So this is the graph, but as you can see, it's not super big. So we're going to make that white, and then we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it until it fills up the whole board. And just make sure it lines up. And as you can see, I'm like kind of like doubling down on like copy and pasting it so I don't have to do it one by one. And then we're gonna move this all the way over here. Okay. Now we should have the whole canvas filled. And then we're gonna select all of it, and we're going to lock it. And then we're actually going to duplicate the page twice, because this is actually a page that gets used over like multiple times, especially in this video. So we're just going to duplicate that for now. Okay, and now we're going to sort of like make the B-roll. So to do that, we are going to want to go down, and we're going to want to get a rounded edge, sort of like squares. So you just go down here in shapes, and then make it big enough, or basically make it the size that you want to be. Now in her video, to make her video sort of like stand out, she actually has like a blur in the background. So we're actually going to change the color black, and then we're going to turn the transparency down a bit. And then we're going to go back to elements over here, and then we are going to grab the frame element. Is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one. And there you go. So now it, kind of looks like it. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to basically select this, and since we lock down the graph, that's why it's really important to lock down the graph to the thing, to the canvas. It's not going to be selected with the rest of the video. So we are going to select this, and then we are going to group it, not lock it, because if we lock it, then it's going to lock it to the page. But if you group it, you're just grouping this part right here. So we're gonna put that in the middle of the screen, and then we're going to go to videos, And you could either upload your own B-roll to here and put it in there and use it that way, or you can use some of Canva's B-roll. And I actually, depending on the video that I'm editing, whether it's for myself or for my client, I'll do either or. Now, I really like this B-roll. I think it's pretty, so we're going to use this. And you can actually edit this video and make it shorter by basically like dragging this over here. Now, I would not recommend editing like a full-blown like video in Canva, but I like to basically create graphics, and I like to make transitions and like special B-roll and stuff like that inside of Canva. But to edit the actual video, I actually use an actual video editor like Premiere Pro or CapCut or something like that. But editing in Canva allows me to sort of like create the different graphics and import them in there, no matter what video editor I'm using at the time. Okay, so now to make this basically have that slide up effect, you're going to want to select it again, and then we're going to want to animate it. So we're not going to want to animate the page, we're going to want to animate the element. And then basically we just use the rise, and make sure it says on enter and not both, because if you put both, it's going to slide up, and then when it leaves, it's going to slide down. But we just want it to be on enter. Okay, so after we do that, we're actually going to want to split this down, because as we saw in the other video, it kind of like faded out. So we're actually going to want to trim that. And to do that, you just select the video, move the playhead to where you want to cut it at, and then you just press split page. Now it comes up, but then as you see here, it sort of like comes up again. So now you're gonna basically have to like remove the effects. So to do that, you just click on the video, and then you select the B-roll again, and hopefully this works the first time, but you just press remove animation. So now hopefully it won't do that once it moves from this sort of like page to this one. So yep, and it did move it. Good. Okay, so that wasn't the cleanest sort of like transition from that one to that one, and as we saw, this one actually turned into gray. So we're going to add the transition right here, and we're going to put dissolve, and then we're actually going to press this video, we're going to do edit, and then we're going to turn this one black and white if I can find. Okay, so the grayscale. So now it does it on its own, and now it sort of like just fades into the colorful one to the thing. But I will say that this one is like, and now we're going to sort of like look at it and look at it from like full screen. So it comes up and then it transitions. All right, so that one is good. Okay, now we're going to go over this sort of like numbered framework that she has in her video.
To do. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how you can completely transform your...
Yep, so we're going to make sure the words and also the graphics, they all go up at the same time. Okay, now we are back on our Canva document. Like I said, we are going to use this number line, well, not this number line, this graph background that we created in the previous B-roll file. And by the way, I'm going to show you guys how to download this as well, so it's not like all together. And I probably won't use exact colors here, but first thing we're going to do is add text, and it's going to say 6-month financial plan. And I'm not quite sure which font she uses in her videos, but I think it might be Montserrat. I have a feeling it might be this one. This is actually a very popular font right here that a lot of people use, but I may be wrong. Okay, so we have that here. Now we're going to create the other graphics that go in. Now for that, I'm actually going to go on this page, this one over here, and I'm going to go back to elements and get those rounded squares again. So you can see in the little shapes area, it's right here. And again, you want to make sure you get the rounded one and not the square one. And she uses, what colors does she uses? Like a bright orange and then sort of like another orange color. So let's see. We'll do, and these don't have to be like exact colors. Let's see, orange. Okay, we'll use that one. And then we're going to copy it and create another one, but make it smaller. Put it in the middle and then make it a different shade of orange. Okay. Again, it's not exact, but you know. And you can actually do your own colors when you do this too. It doesn't have to be the same exact colors. And you want to like play around with like how big you want the outer sides to be. And yeah, you can literally be in here like all day trying to be like super specific with this. Okay, so we're gonna leave it like that, and then we're actually, again, the grid in the back is supposed to be locked down to the page, so you're not supposed to be grabbing that, but you're going to copy and paste this, and also lock this as well. Not lock it. You want to group it, so when you copy and paste it, it sort of like all goes together. So you're going to group that. And now you have 6 of them. And you're going to actually make them a little bit smaller. There you go. And you're going to move this up a bit because we're actually not done with these. Then we're going to get this rounded square again, but this time we're going to keep it as a square. And we're going to put it right in the middle, and we're going to actually turn it white. No, we're going to turn it black actually. We're going to turn it black. We are going to put the transparency down again, add to give it some depth, and then we're going to turn it white. Let's see, white. And make sure, okay, there you go. And I'm going to turn it white. And again, well, we're not going to group that together just yet because we're actually going to put it on top of the other ones as well. Let's see. So you just want to kind of select it and then copy and paste it on the other. And make sure they all line up. Okay, now we're going to grab them all again, make them a little bit smaller because we're still going to have to add those words, remember? And then we're going to go to text. We're going to give it the Montserrat or whatever font that you want it to be, but we're going to give it this font again, and then we're going to put the numbers on it. 4, 5, and then 6. And then what we're going to do is check these numbers out rather, and make sure they're somewhat even and centered. Okay. Then we're going to copy and paste this, Control C, Control V, onto this page. Let's see, okay. So it still needs to be made a little bit tinier, which is fine. So everything's now centered. Move that up like a little bit. And, oh, I just clicked off. Okay, now we're going to select it all. We're going to go to animate again. And, wait, hold up. We're actually going to group these together, because if we don't, it's going to be looking all silly. Group, and then group. Okay, now we're going to select it all and animate it. So now they sort of like come up one by one. Okay, so now we have our second type of B-roll done, and I'm actually going to make this full screen so we can look at it. Okay, so now we're going to add the text to each one of them. Now in her video, she sort of does it one by one. So she does it here.
How to set it up as well. Moving on to month number 2. This month, your goal is simple. Save for 1 month's worth of your fundamental expenses.
Okay, so she basically does the B-rolls one by one. So how you're going to do this is you're going to go back to Canva. And we already sort of like have the two set up already, but you're going to want to duplicate this specific page 6 times, or however many numbers. Well, actually no, we're not going to duplicate that yet. We're going to add the text first. So we are going to, and just pretend like this is the words. You can customize this to whatever you want it to be. We're going to click it, and then we're going to go to animate again. And as you see, like with the letters, it's like different types of animations. So we're actually going to leave that there. So that will be the first one where they all come up, and then this would be the second one. So we're going to copy and paste that there. And we actually want these not to be animated, because the only thing that's going to be animated in this one is the word. So we're going to keep that the same, and then I'll come back over here, go to text, and then you can sort of like just add your text here. And then you're going to go to animate, and then you're going to do typewriter. Okay, so this one's still moving, so we're just going to make sure that we remove the animation on this, because the only thing we want moving in this one is this animation. So that was the first one. Now this is the second one that we put in the video, and then we would duplicate this again, make sure that this animation is removed, and copy and paste it, customize the text to whatever you wanted it to, and then you animate it again. So when the second thing that you were explaining came up, the words would animate for the second thing. You're going to duplicate it again. Again, click it again, the heading part up. And I click the heading part again. Make sure that it's not animated. And copy and paste it for this one. And animate this one instead. And yeah, you would want to repeat that 3 more times. And the third graphic that we are going to recreate is this sort of like flowchart style analysis thing. And she actually does graphics like these quite a bit in her videos. So if it's not a flowchart, it'll be like a pie chart or something like that.
It's a psychological phenomenon where the more choices that we make in our day, the worse our decisions become.
And to do that, we are going to open up this again. We are going to open up this again, and Canva actually has like animated sort of like graphs and stuff that you can insert into your videos. So we're going to go to elements, and then we are going to go to charts. And the chart that she just made actually was a line chart. Now we are going to change the font on this, and then let's see how her chart looks. So it's 100 down to 20, and then it's 8 to 20. So we're going to go back over here, and then we're going to press edit. And I'm gonna look at that. Okay, so 8 to 20. So instead of item, it's going to be 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And let me just check that again. And then 20. And then on the other side, it's going to be 100, 80, 60, 40, 20. And you can completely customize this to whatever your numbers are when you actually do it. Now her color was actually orange. Now hers does like a little curve, and this one doesn't do a curve, so this is probably not the program that she used, but when you're editing, different programs have different editing capabilities, so that's completely fine. So at the bottom, we're going to put time of day down here. I'm going to put that down a little bit more, and then on the side, we're going to do decision quality. Now there's a few more words that she put in there, but we're not going to add that for today, just because I don't want to make this video super long. So now we're going to see how this plays. I'm going to move this playhead over here. And as you can see, it pops up just like that. Okay. We're going to make this a bit smaller. And we are going to we can't group them together. We can't group the words in the graph together. But what we can do is we can make that go up, and we can make that rise as well. So now they all rise sort of like together. And let's see.
It's a psychological.
Okay, so it all sort of like rises together. So she had, I'm gonna put this up here. Up. That was not what I meant to do. Okay. So fatigue. Oh, I spelled fatigue wrong. Okay. Decision fatigue, how, and then she made this one color. And then she said sort of like how your, this wasn't word for word what she said, but we're just going to say how your decisions are impacted and leave it at that. Keep on pressing off of things. Okay. So I feel like this needs to be like a little bit smaller, so we're going to do that. And then we're also going to make that D capital, and we're going to animate this as well. Now, as you can see in this video, she is actually over here on the side. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So to do that, you basically go back over here in Elements, and you get off the charts. You go to Shapes. You get the rounded corner edge again. You make it as big as you would want to be. You turn that white, and then you get the rounded frame. Well, yes, you get the rounded frame again. And you check that out, make sure that's okay. And then what you actually want to do is go to Photos, and you're going to type in green. Wait, I think, well, mine is already here because I practiced a bit before we watched this video, but we're going to put green right here. And we are actually going to make sure this is, yep, it's on enter and not on exit. I'm going to make sure all of them are on enter. Okay. And then what you want to do here is you actually want to duplicate this page, and you're going to want to make sure none of these move. So you're going to want to remove all animations. Did I remove them all? No. And by the way, this is definitely on exit, so we're going to do on enter. And make sure all of them are only on enter. Okay, so now we're going to sort of like check them all out. So this is the first one. This is the second one, and it looks a bit laggy right now just because my computer is doing a lot of things. That's the first one, that's the second one. And that is the third one. And this is the fourth one. Okay, now I'm going to show you exactly how to insert these into your video edits. Okay, so now we're going to download them. So we're going to go over here to download, and we're going to download pages 1 through 7. We're going to download them as MP4 videos, and we're going to download all of them as separate files. And that is very important because if you don't do that, they're all going to be, it's just going to be one full video, but we want these to be individual B-roll clips. So we're going to download them as separate files. And then we're also going to download, remember when we duplicated the last page, page 8 or 7 rather, and we changed it to page 8? We're going to download this also, but we're going to download this as a PNG file. And that just did that by itself. Okay, one last thing. I wanted to show you how this sort of like works when you are actually editing your videos. Now, this video has nothing to do with what Nischa was talking about. This is actually a video that I edited in the past. So we're not going to necessarily listen to any audio because the B-roll is different, of course. But what you would do is you would download those files, And then what you would do is you would bring them into your editor and basically use the B-roll on your videos. So that would be like the first one. So just like pretend you were talking. And boom. Okay. Where is the other one? Okay, so this is like another example. And this is one too. Oh, so this one says recording mistakes. Okay, so maybe this does have something to do with it. Okay, so that will come up just like that. And then, okay. And for this right here, here is the video. And we're going to fix this in just a second. But we will put that there. So we would basically let that play. And then what would happen is, you know, because remember we downloaded one JPEG version. This would be the photo version. And what we do here is we actually, whatever part of the video that we're talking about, basically, we would trim the video. And then we will go into our video editor and we would remove the green screen. This is the effects control. And in my video editor, I use Premiere Pro. That is the Ultra key. And we would basically remove it from this one, and we will also remove it from this one as well. And then what we would do with the video is basically put that in the place of the green screen. And yeah. I actually really had like a lot of fun doing this activity. So that's the breakdown of how you're going to edit your videos like Nischa. Her style is clean, minimal, and super intentional. Now, if you happen to not want to do this by yourself, then click the link down below and contact me and we can talk about how to get started.